Welcome, everyone. So, today we're tackling something that is, honestly, one of the most exciting, but also kind of terrifying milestones for any collector: buying your very first luxury watch. The horological market right now is just completely flooded with options. It's literally like trying to drink from a fire hose. But don't worry, we've got you covered. This explainer is designed to be your ultimate guide. We're going to cut right through all that noise and give you a highly curated, structurally sound roadmap to the absolute best high-end timepieces out there in 2024.
Right off the bat, here's the question that paralyzes almost every new enthusiast. Where should I actually begin? I mean, the sheer volume of brands, the movements, the sizes, the styles, it's enough to make anyone second-guess themselves. And you know what? That anxiety you might be feeling, it is completely valid. This is a significant investment, and you absolutely want to get it right. Okay, let's dive into this and establish some clear parameters to make this whole process not just manageable, but genuinely fun.
To keep our recommendations incredibly focused, we've set up 3 non-negotiable ground rules for the watches we're featuring in this explainer. First, with one very, very slight exception we'll get to, we're keeping the budget strictly under $10,000. Second, these need to be safe, iconic choices. We're talking watches with recognized pedigree and undeniable respect among collectors. And finally, versatility is key. Your first luxury watch needs to be a total chameleon, capable of looking perfectly at home in almost any daily scenario you throw at it. Here is the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll start with a luxury watch plunge, move into heavyweights, Rolex and Omega, explore icons of sea and space, then check out heritage flyers and travelers, and wrap up with masterpieces of engineering and elegance. Starting us off, Section 1, the luxury watch plunge, establishing your foundation. Moving right along to Section 2, heavyweights, Rolex and Omega. These are the undisputed titans of everyday luxury. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts Rolex's 2 most formidable entry-level titans. When you're establishing your foundation, you're looking for that elusive one-and-done piece, right? A watch so perfectly balanced that if you decided to just stop collecting tomorrow, your wrist would still be impeccably dressed for the rest of your life. On one side, we have the Oyster Perpetual. It comes in 36 and 41 millimeter sizes and gives you dials ranging from standard black to these really vibrant, playful colors. It's the classic everyday standard. But then, look at the Rolex Explorer. Offered in 36 and 40 millimeters, it's got that legendary 369 dial layout. But here's the cool part. Because the lume is integrated so cleanly into those numerals, rather than using the bulkier rectangular indicators of the Oyster Perpetual, the Explorer actually ends up looking remarkably sleeker and just slightly dressier for everyday wear. This brings us to a very specific number, $9,100. This is the retail price of the iconic Rolex Submariner without a date complication. Now, I know. I promised to stay under $10,000, and this pushes right up against our ceiling. But the Submariner is the one watch that absolutely demands an exception. It is practically bulletproof. It offers best-in-class fit and finish. Yes, you are going to see it everywhere, and sure, it might have lost some of its obscure novelty over the decades. But think of it like ordering your all-time favorite dish at your favorite restaurant. It might not shock you like it did the very first time you tried it, but its undeniable quality and comfort guarantee you're going to enjoy it every single time. Across the aisle, we've got Omega's answer to the everyday watch, the Aquaterra. While there are a ton of variations out there, the new black lacquer dial options offer just incredible flexibility. They seriously pair with literally any outfit. You get 2 distinct sizes here, a 38 millimeter powered by the 8800 movement and a 41 millimeter driven by the 8900 movement. Both are giving you 150 meters of water resistance. But crucially, and this is a real game changer, they now feature a tool-free micro adjustment built right into the clasp. This means you get perfect sizing on the fly as your wrist naturally expands and contracts throughout the day. Next up, Section 3, icons of sea and space. These are capable tools with some seriously legendary history. These are watches originally engineered as hyper-capable tools for professionals, but they've organically evolved into legendary daily companions. If you're on the hunt for a luxury dive watch, these 2 are absolute juggernauts. The Omega Seamaster Diver 300 mil sits right around $6,000 and represents what is arguably the most complete watch for that price. It's a master chronometer with this striking ceramic wave dial, and the double anti-reflective coating makes the crystal virtually disappear. Then right beside it, we have Tudor's reimagined Black Bay 41 millimeter. Tudor brilliantly shaved down the case, bringing it to a highly manageable 13.6 millimeters thick. Plus, it now boasts Master Chronometer certification and Tudor's phenomenal T-Fit clasp for seamless all-day comfort. And listen, you simply cannot talk about icons without bringing up the Omega's Speedmaster Professional. Don't let the 42mm case size scare you off. Thanks to a highly compact 47.12mm lug-to-lug distance, this thing wears like a total dream on almost any wrist. Inside takes the upgraded 3861 movement, and of course, it has the legendary pedigree of being flight tested by NASA in the 1960s. What's super fresh for 2024 is the breathtaking new white dial version, which mirrors the Sapphire model but adds these really refined nuances, like an Apply to Omega logo and polished interior bracelet links. Let's move to and see how this builds as we transition to Section 4, Heritage, Flyers, and Travelers, diving into the rich history of aviation timepieces. So, aviation watches traditionally faced a pretty major hurdle. They were just way too big for daily wear. But look at how these two brands have adapted. IWC completely updated their pilot line with the Mark 20. They kept the 40mm diameter, but significantly slimmed down the lug-to-lug to a very wearable 49mm, all while packing in a massive 5 days of power reserve and upgrading it to 100 meters of water resistance. Then we have the legendary Breitling Navitimer. It used to be perceived as a watch exclusively for large wrists, but Breitling now brilliantly offers it in 41, 43, and 46mm, ensuring this historic in-house mechanical chronograph can find a home on virtually any wrist size. And this timeline brilliantly illustrates the sheer depth of history we're talking about when it comes to travel watches. Most people just assume the GMT watch was born during the golden age of jet travel in the 1950s. But get this, Longines actually released their first dual time zone wristwatch, the Zulu, way back in 1925. That is literally a full year before Hans Wilsdorf even registered the Tudor name, and a whole quarter century before the 1950s GMT boom. Because of that immense, totally authentic heritage, the Longines Spirit Zulu Time is an absolute knockout. It's available in multiple sizes now, including a new 39mm titanium case, and features a true GMT movement assembled right in their own facility. This means the local hour hand jumps independently so you can easily adjust to new time zones without stopping the watch. For a long time, the Tudor GMT was kind of the only major luxury player offering this at this price point, but Longines has completely answered the call with a highly accurate, enthusiast-approved alternative. Finally, we land at Section 5, Masterpieces of Engineering and Elegance, pushing the very boundaries of watchmaking. For the collector who really wants a watch that pushes the technical or aesthetic boundaries of what horology can achieve, wow. If there's one watch that captures pure aesthetic magic, it is the Grand Seiko Shunbun. It's housed in their beautifully angled 62GS titanium case, and you'll quickly notice there is no traditional bezel. The sapphire crystal shoots straight up from the case, creating this highly unique wide-open display. But the dial? The dial is the true star. It features a sporadic texture that feels naturally perfect, acting as a color chameleon that constantly shifts from silver to a delicate pink depending entirely on how the light hits it. Honestly, it is breathtaking in person. But the Shunbun isn't just a pretty face. It's powered by Grand Seiko's incredible 9R65 spring drive. So the crucial point is understanding exactly how this works. Spring drive is this incredible hybrid marvel. It uses a traditional mechanical mainspring, so it winds naturally with the motion of your arm, no battery required. But instead of a standard mechanical escapement, which naturally creates friction, it uses a quartz oscillator and an electromagnetic impulse that acts as a frictionless brake on a glide wheel. Because it perfectly marries the endless power of mechanics with the laser precision of quartz and totally eliminates traditional escapement friction, this watch achieves something pretty staggering. It has an accuracy rating of running within 15 seconds a month. Actually, scratch that. Just think about that for a second. 15 seconds a month? To get that kind of precision out of a mechanically driven mainspring is a true tour de force of engineering. Our final stop brings us to pure, undeniable elegance with the Cartier Santos. This piece has a profound history. It was created for Alberto Santos Dumont when he requested a watch he could read while keeping his hands firmly on his airplane's controls. That makes it arguably the very first pilot watch, and for some, the first purpose-built men's wristwatch entirely. Today, it stands out as an incredible first luxury watch because it bridges the gap perfectly. It is refined enough for a tuxedo, for sure, but with its steel bracelet and 100 meters of water resistance, it easily dresses down for a weekend t-shirt. Now, one really important thing to note here. Because of its highly polished bezel, the Cartier Santos will pick up scratches easily. And for a first-time buyer, I know that first scratch can be totally heartbreaking. But I want you to remember this philosophy. When I scratch my watch, I know it's mine. Watches aren't museum artifacts, right? They are tools meant to live your life alongside you. Every mark is just a testament to the experiences you've had wearing it. So, from the indestructible Rolex Submariner to the color-shifting magic of Grand Seiko, navigating your first luxury watch purchase absolutely does not have to be an overwhelming experience. You now have a structured roadmap of the safest, most capable, and most fascinating timepieces out there under $10,000. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. When you look down at your wrist 5 years from now, what story will your very first luxury watch tell? Choose the one that speaks to you, wear it well, and enjoy every single second of the journey.